everyone. Anna Hammonds here with the Unite Ellis podcast. We are talking about our communities, how we're working together to make thriving and flourishing communities. And today we are with our great partner, CarePortal, and talking about CarePortal and the software and how we use that process to better our communities. So let's get started. All right, we're here with Allon Morris. Allon, give us your quick intro of you being with CarePortal and then the overview of CarePortal as well.
My name is Allon Morris, and I am the church ambassador with the online platform known as CarePortal. And essentially what CarePortal is, it's a connecting technology that helps bring together members of the community, such as businesses, school districts, and individuals in the community to partner with local churches so that they can meet the needs of families that's right there in their backyard that may need help with either groceries or light bills or school uniforms. It's a way for them to be able to connect and not only meet a tangible need, but also provide some continued wraparound support for families that's right there in their own backyard.
Very cool. So let's talk about like the literal process. So you have agencies that put the needs into the software. So who all is that for Ellis County? Who's putting in the needs in the software?
So here in Ellis County, we have obviously CPS, or Child Protective Services, our local school districts. Right now, the only active one we have is Red Oak ISD. Excuse me. All 7 of their campuses are active. We have First Look Pregnancy Resource Center. We have the Heights for our abused and battered women. We also have Ellis County Homeless Coalition. And eventually we hope to have on Manor House, Ennis Cares, as well as Midlothian and Ennis ISD, and hopefully Waxahachie ISD. And we're building into Ferris and I forgot our other school district.
But no, I think you covered them all. So we have 10 school districts in the county. We already have Red Oak ISDs covered. And so I think talking about coming online is Midlothian, Ferris, and Ennis right now, with the goal of eventually getting all of them out there, which is what, as Unite Ellis, we're very excited about.
Yes.
So you have those entering agency, the requesting agencies, they put the needs into the software. So what are examples of some of those needs?
Some of the examples would be you can have needs for clothing, whether that be school uniforms or just a child needing a pair of shoes. Groceries for family, utility bills, which is usually one, baby items. That's another big one for expecting mothers, families that are maybe moving into an apartment, maybe need help with the deposit. And then there's also sometimes you have requests for counseling and other things like that. So there's really, as long as there's a child in the center of the home, that request can be put on there. So that kind of gives an endless option of the types of requests that you have on there. But it goes anywhere from rent assistance down to just a pair of shoes.
So you have the requesting agencies put these needs into the system, and then what happens after that?
After they put the need into the system, the request will then go out to a 25-mile radius of where that child is located.
Okay.
So all churches, individuals, businesses, nonprofits, anyone who signed up to receive the request will then receive a simple email letting them know of the child in need, what is needed, and it gives the community the opportunity to help support by either funding resources or providing the actual items. So that then a church that steps up and clicks my favorite button, yes, I can help, can then receive those funds or those items so that they can then connect with the family. From there, they connect with the family. Hopefully they can give some wraparound support and start actually building a relationship with them. At that point, that part is done and it goes back to the caseworker. Caseworker can follow up and then close the request.
So it's a situation where it may start with a tangible item or a need being met, but the goal is what? Like when churches are going in or other individuals, they're bringing the bed or whatever, but then what happens after that? What would be the ideal situation there?
The ideal situation really is about relationship, building relationships and being the hands and feet of Christ. We want them to be able to make a connection because, as we know, some of these tangible items, a simple bed isn't really the problem. There could be other issues that are there, but we won't find that out. Only way we can find that out is through relationship. And we're hoping that the church being able to be connected with them, they can build that relationship, but also then, really have kind of a connection with that family.
Yeah.
Because now they're there with continued support. So that family is no longer now somewhat on their own.
Yeah.
Because we know from some of those requests that you see,
Right.
some of them is a single mom or just a family that's moved here.
Yeah.
They have no other support around them, and they just feel like they're in a relationship desert.
Yes. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
they have some people that are coming around them
Right.
and support
Yeah.
them. So it's really about connection.
Yes. I love the connection part, but then also the other part, the idea of multiple entities, multiple churches,
Mm-hmm.
businesses, individuals, all coming together around a particular
Mm-hmm.
family. So let's say, for example, First Look Pregnancy Clinic, of course, that's one organization.
Mm-hmm.
They put a need in for a single mom coming in that's about to have a baby and she has nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they list multiple items. It could be the crib, all the baby bottles, whatever it is, all
Mm-hmm.
that's listed. And one church can say, oh, I'll get the crib. And another individual can say, I'll get the baby bottles. And another one can say, I'll get this. And all of a sudden you have all these entities coming together
Mm-hmm.
to meet one need. It is the coolest thing. I mean, it's
Right.
like a game to me to watch. I mean, it just is so fun to me to watch all these entities come together to help this one family, in one situation. And then to know you can take it further beyond that, I think is so cool. So as Unite
Mm-hmm.
Ellis, we have a lot of goals because we love CarePortal. So I already mentioned the goal of rolling this out into the 10 school districts. So we're
Mm-hmm.
working on that. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, which I was excited about. So
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to be at 3 school districts by the end of this year. And if we stay on track, we'll be have 4 full school districts and all of their campuses at least working to get rolled out.
Yes.
But then we also have the goal of breaking it down by geography of how many churches and individuals and organizations come on to receive the request.
Mm-hmm.
So like in each area, like Waxahachie, we currently have about 7 receiving the request. We're hoping to get to 10. Midlothian, 7, hoping to get to 10. Red Oak has blown it out of the water. Our goal was 8. And we have 12 agencies or entities receiving the request.
Mm-hmm.
Ennis, we would like 3 more. We're now at 5 with the goal of getting to 8. Ferris, we'd like to get 4 more entities. Palmer, 3 more. Maypearl, 3 more. And then Avalon, Italy, and Milford, we would like to get 4 more organizations, churches, individuals, businesses to come on for free.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to a church or an individual if they're like, well, why would I do this? Like, how do you explain to them the reason that a church should come onto this kind of platform?
Really, it's kind of simple as in black and white. We're commanded to it by Scripture. James 1:27 commands us to take care of the widows and the orphans.
Yeah.
And if you truly have a heart for serving the community and for serving children, how could you say no to just being there to help provide simple, tangible needs?
Yeah.
That allows you to have a connection with that church and with that family and that child. And this is right in your neighborhood. We're not talking about overseas. We're not talking about another state. We're talking about right in your area, right in your community. And that's what the church is supposed to be for.
Yeah.
And if we're helping to build our families and make them stronger, doesn't that make our communities stronger, make our communities better?
Yeah.
So that, even if we're not talking about the religious side as a business, I want my community thriving because as my community thrives, my business does better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it benefits everyone to help support the children and families that are in need in your own community because it helps make us stronger.
Yeah, that's really good. And the phrase there that we talk about a lot, and kind of going back to what you're saying earlier, the relational poverty.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people talk about poverty and just think like pure financial poverty,
Mm-hmm.
but this is so much more than that, right? I mean, like whenever you can make that connection, we're getting at the heart of an issue of like the relationship, the loneliness. Like what kind of are you seeing? Like, do you have any examples of where you're seeing that play out in like the best case scenario of all those elements coming together and church, with the relationship side of things?
Yes, both on the family side and for the agencies and churches that are on, knowing that there's another church that's right by you that has the same heart. Sundays are the most segregated days of the week. And this now helps to break down some of those barriers. If you're both serving the same God and looking at the same scripture, why are we not working together?
Yeah, that's good.
So the church partnership, we get to be a part of that, of trying to bring the churches back together.
Yeah, that's good.
Because, you know, they always say 2 heads are better than one. So same goes with 2 churches.
Yeah.
Them being able to come together. And then families that are getting blessed by that. Ones who were desperate, maybe in the point of feeling that they didn't even want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
But now they have a connection with someone that can talk to, that they can unload on.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference. You know, it doesn't take a lot to make a major impact in someone's life. And it could just being present is enough.
Yeah.
And that's the opportunity that we have, is to not only bless others that are in need, but then also making new partnerships and connections with those who have the same heart as.
Yeah.
That's why I love this so much, because I've now been able to find a lot of people who have the same heart as me, to where I felt like I was kind of one of the only ones, like a very rare breed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more people out there that care.
Absolutely.
Than we know.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how it's the double side. Like, it's not just people working together for the relational side of the family or the person that needs help, but like all the churches and organizations working together. I think that is so cool. So, okay, tell me about the story. Let's talk about the story recently with the lawnmower. That's one of my most favorite stories of like how this can all play out. So tell me about that situation.
So we had a request that came in for a mom with her children that they were in danger of getting evicted because they couldn't cut their grass. They didn't have a lawnmower or anything like that. So a request was put in to actually get their yard cut. Well, typically we expect the church to respond to that. Well, the church did, but it was a church that wasn't even part of CarePortal. There was an individual who was actually on CarePortal that belonged to another church, said, hey, we're willing to help out with that. Well, another church that was on the platform responded to it, and between the two of them, they not only went out to try to get the yard cut, but they started getting equipment so that they could do it themselves, and took the time to work with the young men to show them how to cut the grass.
Yeah.
That goes right back to the relational part that you're talking about, and helping building those young men up so that now they have a skill or something that they just weren't shown before. And now they know how to simply cut their grass, something that we do and take for granted, but don't realize somebody else just doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So there was a partnership between churches and now with the family, and hopefully now that church is actually now going to come aboard on CarePortal to join in the struggle.
Like the multiple layers of that story. So you have the government entity that needs a property cleaned up for the sake of the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. So that's one angle. You have the family in need. And my logistical mind would have just been like, oh, we can set up a schedule of lawn mowing, you know, and get multiple churches to go out, you know, you take this week, you take this week. But the fact that the need was met, and then the lawnmower was purchased and provided, and then the teenagers were, you know, taught to mow a lawn, which is generational, you know, hopefully they will be having families someday. And then, I mean, that's a skill set that they need for a long time. And then the relational side of it, I mean, there is just so many, I absolutely, that's a perfect example, I feel like, is what we're talking about, you know? And of course, some of them, that's a maybe easier situation. There's others that are hard, you know, they're, especially when you're talking domestic violence or homelessness. You know, we've had a couple of situations where there might have been a death in the family. I mean, there's some that they're very eye-opening to me to see some of the situations, and they're very sad. And to be able to come into a situation that you may not have had access to in another way, you know, is, I think, such a benefit to be able to be there, even just on the relational side. So CarePortal is nationwide, correct? How many states are y'all in?
We are currently in 35 states and 2 provinces in Canada, which one of those 35 states, which we thought would not be here till probably the end, is Alaska.
That's so cool.
And it's still kind of blowing my mind. I'm like, do we have enough people in Alaska for CarePortal to be there? Right. But and it's growing. Just in the last 3 years, we've gone from 27 states, I believe, when I first started, to now 35. And we're looking to launch maybe 1 or 2 more states this year. But it's about growing in the right aspect. We want to make sure there's a solid foundation before
Yeah.
moving on.
Right.
We could clearly go, nationwide easily, but to do it well and do it properly so that we're making sure that the children are taken care of to the best of ability, we want to make sure that we're doing that
Yeah.
right. So, and just because we're in that state doesn't mean that we're active in every county. That
Sure.
is our ultimate goal, is to be active in every state and every county and
Yeah.
every state is using CarePortal.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, for the most part, with our partnership with CPS, definitely here in the state of Texas, wherever CPS is, which is across the state, but wherever we're active, they're using our platform to put in
Yeah.
requests. And that's starting to become a kind of a common thing nationwide.
Yeah.
So, and obviously that's one of our biggest requesters, because they're
Right.
the ones really on the front lines of seeing some of
Yes.
these needs besides our local schools, which,
Yeah.
well, I know that's one of you all's biggest
Right.
goals, is having the schools on
Yeah.
board, because they see things before
Sure.
it gets to CPS.
Yeah. Yeah. So where is Texas in that whole list? I mean, I know we're like the greatest state ever, but have we've been doing it longer though? Like Texas is at the beginning of the launch of all this. Is that right?
Yes, CarePortal was launched back in 2015, and Texas didn't start well, honestly, but in 2019 kind of was a revamp of it.
Okay.
And that's actually when Ellis County really
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of first started back into it. Um, our stats here in Texas right now, we've actually served 33,443 children.
Oh, that's
And
so
that number
cool.
probably changed even as we're talking right now,
Yeah.
because there is such a big boom in participation of people coming on board. The economical impact has been 9,774,977. That's a lot of numbers with a
So
lot of
cool.
sevens.
9 million plus. Wow.
And we have a total of 792 response teams, which equivalates to churches
Yeah.
in the state of Texas so far.
Oh, that's
And
so
I
cool.
expect that to really grow before the end of the year.
Yeah.
In Ellis County, listen up, people. No. So far, there's been over 1,000 children served just here in Ellis County, 1,047 to be exact. The economical impact is 194,000. I expect us to hit that. I've put out a challenge that I want Ellis County to reach 250,000 by the end of the year.
Oh, I think we can do it. Yeah, we're at
that's
almost 200
not saying
now.
get there and stop there, but
Yeah.
at minimum, I think we should be able to do 200. Because
Yes.
you guys know Raymond and I, which Raymond is our
Yeah.
regional manager for the area, we call this God's country.
Yeah.
Because it truly is the easiest place that has been able to go and talk about CarePortal, and people catch the vision.
Yeah.
Both on the church side, to individuals, to organizations, everyone gets it, and the partnerships are just tremendous down
So
here
good.
between church,
Yeah.
business, family, nonprofits, you name it.
Yeah.
And the communities are literally coming together, and it's the idea of what we expect to see with CarePortal,
Yeah.
how we
So
like
good.
to see it work.
And see, for us, it's so easy. Like I describe a lot of times Unite Ellis as taking the needs, like we have insight into where the need is and
Mhm.
matching it with people who want to meet the need.
Mhm.
And so there are a lot of people and churches that are like, I would love to help. I just don't know. I don't have access into CPS, or
Mhm.
I don't know about these situations. How do we know about this? And my answer is always, oh, CarePortal. That's the number one. You have to get on
Mhm.
CarePortal. It is free on the church side. And so we're literally delivering to you the opportunity to say, hey, this is a situation. It's been vetted.
Yes.
We know the details. We know this is a basic need that someone needs for a child. Here you go. Here's your opportunity to get involved. And so I think once a church or others grasp the concept, every time I love to watch them, they're like, oh, this is so cool. I wish we would have started earlier.
Mhm.
So I know, so you're saying $250,000 of a goal for the economic impact. Now
Mhm.
that's been all time since we rolled
Correct.
out in 2019-ish.
Correct.
But really in the last 2 years is when we've been like, well, 2023 into now
Mhm.
has been like our big, like, let's do this. So
yes, I would say it's been more than half of that number has come in that time,
So good. I love it.
including the church growth. Because I didn't say that, there are actually 37 now churches that are on board compared to a year and a half ago, we were looking at maybe 20,
Yeah.
with
Some
6
more.
of those
Yeah.
being like consistently active.
Right. So the things we like to look at, obviously we're tracking, how many churches, individuals, and businesses are involved to receive the request. We're looking at how many school districts and agencies can put in the request.
Mm-hmm.
But then we're tracking the percent of needs that are met.
Mm-hmm.
So the first quarter of this year, we were at a 94% response rate, which means a need went in and 94% of the needs were completely met, which we're very, very excited. We had a much lower goal, and then we're like 94, this is great. Then we're also tracking the number of days it's open. So on the Unite Ellis side, we have a system in place to where a need goes in. Once if it sits there without any movement by like day 5, we're then taking that and like sending it out in different ways. Like we're notifying our teams and, hey, just want to make sure you saw this or whatever. So making sure like it's not just slipping by. Like everybody's going to see, hey, we really need this. And even making sure all the details are getting met. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we absolutely love doing it. So if someone is listening to this and they're like, I really want to get involved, let's be really clear on all the different ways someone can get involved. So go for it. So how can someone be involved?
So, of course, our number one way that we want is churches. We want our local churches to come. It's free for churches to sign up. And all you're saying is that I'm willing to receive emails and be able to respond to them. I want to receive an email that's in my local area that I can respond to. But if you're not tied to a church, you as an individual can still sign up and be able to receive those same emails. Local businesses can sign up, whether you're a nonprofit or Chick-fil-A or something, or a hospital. You can sign up to also receive that, to either be someone who can respond to them, or maybe you have some items that you can actually provide. So financial or tangible items.
Yes.
We also can use some people that can come in as a requesting agency on our agency side. And those would be those who deal directly with children and would have needs that they could put on the platform. And lastly, we simply need, and I know between us and Unite, we always have this, we have champions.
Yeah.
And those are just individuals who can come on the platform and they, like I said, well, it's an individual, it can be individual, nonprofit, or even another local business that wants to supply the financial piece of it or the tangible needs. And this can happen, you can do it anywhere because this is a public platform. So there are people who are out of state that even support this area. Yeah. And you can support anywhere in that we're active and you see a CarePortal request at.
Yeah. So just driving home the fact, like if someone's like, just me as an individual, can I do this? Absolutely. That's them as an individual can get signed up. But then even going back to the lawnmower story, like if I'm signed up as an individual, but my church is not on the platform yet as like the whole entity, I can go to my church and be like, hey, there's this need. Can we come together and meet it? Like that's been some people working it that way as well. So, and then the business aspect, which I love, because I think there's a lot of mission-minded business owners, again, where they're like, I'd love to be involved in the community, but I don't know what the needs are. This is exactly the need to go. So, okay, last thing, let's talk about the movie. So tell me about the movie that is actually in theaters right now. So tell me about that.
Yes, the movie's called The Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. And this movie, I can't say enough about it. If you can watch this movie and not feel a fire inside you to get up and do something and be involved, then I really urge you to go and find your closest altar at this moment and just, ask God for forgiveness. No, but seriously though, this movie is about a community in East Texas. So this is Texas born and raised, following Bishop W.C. Martin. who is a part of the CarePortal platform as well. But it really talks about how they, in their small country town, were able to have 22 families who really just stood up and said, hey, we're willing to take in all the children that's in this county that nobody else wants. And they took some of the hard cases, most of the hard cases. That's what they looked for. The ones that were maybe they were teenagers and nobody wanted, or there were siblings that, people didn't want more than one child. These families took on all those children to where there were no more children that were left in the system that needed homes. They were waiting for more children instead of children waiting for a home.
So
and
cool.
that's part of the goal of CarePortal that we want nationwide. We want it to be where there are families waiting for children instead of children sitting in the system, sitting in a hotel or sitting in a caseworker's office waiting for a family.
So good.
And this movie here will help bring that to light to you, and it also gives you a call to action at the end to where you can go and find out how to get connected and be able to start helping and serving.
That's awesome. So people can go in theaters right now. Yep. And then, of course, it'll be launched outside of that whenever it comes out of the theaters, but make sure and go see it.
Yes, I didn't say, it's actually a continuation from The Sound of Freedom last year, which is why it's called The Sound of Hope.
Okay.
So it's a continuation of their series, but I will say take you some tissue. Even if you don't think you're a crier, you will be at this because it is impactful and it really, I like the way that it doesn't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
It really shows you what the issues are and why we need more people to get involved.
Right. Yeah. That's so good. Well, I really can't thank you and Raymond for all the work that y'all do here in Ellis County and being just an amazing partner. And that if you want to get involved in CarePortal, let us know. We'll give you information through the Unite Ellis platform and website and our socials. So check it out. If you want to get involved, we'd love to have you. And we will see you on our next podcast.